After loading camping gear on my KTM 390 Adventure motorcycle, I filled up the gas tank and spare gas bottles, and I headed off on a 6-day adventure. My destination was the Crane Hot Springs Camping Resort in Southeast Oregon for the 2024 Giant Loop Adventure Motorcycle Rally. I had never been to a motorcycle rally before, and I was excited to hang out and ride with other adventure riders. I almost always ride alone, so this would be a new experience for me. I was hoping to develop some connections to other like-minded riders in Southern Oregon where I live, so that in the future I could ride with more safety and assurance in small group rides in my region. The long-range weather forecast looked like it would cooperate, so I decided to take a day and a half to get to the 3-day rally and a day and a half to return. I wanted to explore and take a few off-pavement routes on my trip to the rally, and I had planned to spend the first night camping near the small crossroads of French Glen, Oregon. Well, as what happens with adventure motorcycle riding, my plans didn't fall into place as expected, and I dealt with a little adversity on my first day riding. Please join me in this series as I enjoy this little adventure and the 2024 Giant Loop Rally. Well, I just felt the bike riding funny and I pulled over, and I have got a flat tire already. Right there's a nail. I can see it that I picked up, and the rear's flat. So, oh boy, busy road too. Big old nail. I was about 60 miles into my trip and I pulled off into a dirt parking lot to look at the Klamath River channel after the removal of the Boyle Dam. I continued riding for a few more miles and I passed the small settlement of Keno, Oregon. Another mile down the road, my rear tire started to wobble. I pulled off the side of the busy road and I discovered a nail in the tire that I probably picked up in the gravel parking lot. I could have struggled for a few hours and replaced the tube and the side of the road, but instead I decided to hobble back to Keno, where there was a tractor sales and repair shop that could possibly help me. Let me try this tractor store, see if they can help. It was only just right down the road. I got the flat, and instead of me wrestling with it, let me see if they can help me with it here. Well, I could work at repairing the flat myself here in the parking lot of the tractor store. They don't do flats, or they don't do tires at all. But what I did is I struck up a deal with one of the workers here. He's going to haul my bike into Klamath Falls, about 10 miles, and take it to a motorcycle shop and let them do that, so I don't even have to take the tire off. So that's, to me, the best situation at this point. So let's get the bike loaded up. We are loaded and ready to go. Klamath Falls, here we come. Fortunately, I was only a mile or two from this tractor shop. They couldn't repair it. They don't do tires there. But a guy offered to trailer me the whole bike, to Klamath Falls, which is where I'm at right now, and take it to a motorcycle shop, which I called, and they're available to fix it, and they have a tube my size, and they're working on it right now. And he said, why don't I go off and get something to eat, which is what I'm going to do right up the road here, get my lunch. All right, well, I got some lunch here at Gino's that was recommended to me. fill up my belly so I don't have to stop for lunch on the way, go back, and hopefully they've gotten my tire fixed and I'm back on the road. Hey. You can't sneak up on I did though, didn't I? Well, I end up being fortunate that my flat on my rear tire happened where it did. I was only about a mile and a half from the tractor store, and one of the workers was nice enough to load up his motorcycle trailer and haul me over to Klamath Falls, about 15 miles. Of course, I paid him for it. And then found a motorcycle repair shop that was able to get right on it. And they had the tubes that I needed, all the other knowledge, and so yeah, he put a new tube in there. There was only one hole where the nail was. He topped off some of my fluids, specifically my antifreeze. I guess I didn't check that, but it was a little bit low. Adjusted the tension on the chain, and then I took off. And at that time, it was about 2:30 in the afternoon, and I had only gone about 55 miles from my house. So obviously I'm not going to make it to French Glen today. It's a long ways off. I'm heading to the only city of any size here called Lakeview. It's really not very big, but it does have a gas station. I'll fill up there. Also should get to an ATM because I paid cash to the people that helped me, and I may need cash on this trip. So yeah, it kind of made me think a little bit too about getting flat tires. Okay, I found an ATM and a bank. There's usually at least one bank in every town this size. Filled it up with gas, so I'm good to go. The decision is where do I go for the rest of the day? The tire ordeal took about 2.5 hours out of the time I would have been riding. I think I'm going to go up to Heart Mountain National Antelope Refuge. There's some campgrounds there. Campground right at the entrance. I've stayed there before. I'll go through the little town of Plush, where I was going to fill up with gas, but I don't know if I'm going to need to do that now that I just filled up here. Plush is about 45 or 50 miles away. I think the campground might be about another 15 or 20 miles beyond there. So that would be the easiest thing for me to do rather than continuing on, because it's going on 5 o'clock anyhow. So let's just go on that route, and I'll see what happens. Well, I'm starting to get into southeastern Oregon. This is the Oregon's outback. Over there on my right is Heart Mountain. It's a National Antelope and Wildlife Refuge. That's my destination for tonight. I won't see many cars, many people. Hopefully some wildlife. It's a beautiful part of Oregon that many people don't know about. And here is Plush, little store on the right that has gas. I'm just going to stop for a break though. I don't need gas and I don't need food, I don't think. Well, I've been here to Plush in the store once before. A few years ago I was out here on a trip and I lost my phone for about 3 days and was able to, some people found it, turned it into the rangers up at the wildlife center here, and they brought it down to the store and I got it back. Oh man, that was trial and tribulations, losing your phone, you know, in the middle of the outback here. Oh. I got to the Heart Mountain campground a few hours before sunset. I had plenty of time to set up my tent, get my camp ready, relax, eat dinner, and watch a beautiful sunset. And for dinner, just a little bit of top ramen and some sausages. That should do me. I got camp all set up. It's nice to sit down and relax. That was a long ride for me. 220 plus miles is more than what I usually do. And of course it was complicated by the 2.5 hours or so spent getting my flat fixed on my bike. So I'm up here kind of soaking in the sunset views here in a sparsely populated spot here. I do have some cheap wine, which is always nice at the end of the day. It tastes like expensive wine out here, of course. And some snacks and my Garmin, so I can let my family and friends know that I'm okay, and also where my location is for their peace of mind, and also, you know, in case somebody ever needed to come out and look for me, they'd at least have some breadcrumbs here of where I'm at. And then I have to say too that I'm a bit concerned about the flat tire incident, because boy, I sure don't want that happening somewhere where I'm going to have to really struggle replacing a flat. I've debated about tubeless and tube tires in my mind, and most adventure bikes come with tube tires. The older KTM 390 Adventure, the 2022 and 2021 models, they came with cast wheels and tubeless tires, and they switched it in 2023 to the wired wheels and tubes. And although these wheels are more suitable for off-road riding, boy, I would rather have the convenience, I think, of fixing a flat in a tubeless tire than having to rip this whole tire off in the middle of nowhere and changing that flat tire. So I'd like to hear what your thoughts are. Are you a tubeless person or a tube person? You know, do you find having to change a tire in the middle of nowhere a daunting task? Have you ever had that daunting task too? So anyhow, I'm going to think about that, you know, in my future. What am I going to do? Keep these tires or try to switch out to something tubeless? Not sure yet. Well, it's been quite a day. My leg is holding up pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with that. But I am tired and I am going to head off to bed. I'm going to have to get up early tomorrow and get an earlier start, because it's going to be a long day tomorrow as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And I will see you on my next episode of My Senior Moments.